Retro.
And welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Animanicast.
Who cares? I have so many awards, honors, and trophies, it's impossible to know which one I should hang up. Look at your pathetic one puny award.
It's not a competition.
It's not a competition, I said it first.
And welcome, everybody, to everyone's favorite podcast, Looking at Looniversity. That's right, it's the spin-off series of Talkin' Tiny Toons, which we all know is the sister series of the Animanicast. That's right, today we are looking and talking all about the second episode of Tiny Toons Looniversity. We're going to be revisiting all of our favorite jokes and all the cultural references, and in the end, we're going to give this episode of Tiny Toons Looniversity a Water Tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me are my co-hosts. There's my brother Nathan.
Hi, Joey. Bye, Joey. I'm off to buy candy, because I love candy.
Okay, across the country. In Georgia, there's Kelly.
Hello.
Yeah, that candy joke, I was just like, that's the thing I always think about college students. They love candy.
Love candy, yeah.
I mean, it depends on where you are. Like, if you're in, like, when I was in Salt Lake City in Fan X, the people there, they love their candy because they can't have much else. So they love candy. I'm serious. They actually have a whole, like, it's the only Comic-Con I've been to where they have multiple candy displays on there, and people are lining up to buy, like, all these sweet and sour candies and everything like that. It's insane. Today, we are talking about episode number 2 of Tiny Toons Looniversity. This one is called Give Pizza a Chance. And if someone were to ask you about this episode, I don't know, just to describe it in a few words, what would you say, Nathan?
The episode of Lazy Portmanteaus.
Yes, I was going to say, there's a few of them. And Kelly, what about you?
It's Pizza and Roommates.
There we go. It is Pizza and Roommates. And a couple songs, very short songs this time. But they're in there. Okay, so we do have a second episode with songs. By the way, I thank you for the Comedy Bang Bang reference once again, Nathan. For those 2 or 3 people that listen to both Comedy Bang Bang and the Animanicast, man, they must be happy. We're really doing well for our audience members. You know, that 1% that listen to both things. Well, I hope you enjoy it, whoever you are. Okay. Well, before we get to today's episode, let's get to some Animaniacs news. So, Nathan, hit us with a quick Animaniacs news theme song.
This is the quick Animaniacs theme song.
All right. We got some Animaniacs news stuff to share. And, of course, this came from our Discord over at the RetroZap Discord, which, if you'd like to join the conversation over there talking about Animaniacs or anything pop culture with the other folks at RetroZap, you can get a welcome link, which I believe is discord.animanicast.com. That gives you the welcome link right there. Just make sure you're nice, because if you're not a nice person, if you're being mean to other people, you're shown the door. Well, at any rate, this is some notes here from Nick, and Nick shared a tweet from Gabe Zwar. And Gabe Zwar, as we all know, is one of the showrunners of the Animaniacs reboot. And Gabe put out a tweet saying, I proposed we squeeze variety nuggets into Animaniacs Season 3. Here's my letter to Steven explaining the idea. Murder Pals, parentheses, Murder Collie, by Katie Rice. It made it, but poor little Potate didn't. Okay, well, let's find out what this is all about. It says, hello, Steven. As you know, we always want to get more quote-unquote variety in the variety show that is Animaniacs. When Season 2 dropped, the audience and fans felt the same way. They wanted even more variety in characters and structure. So this is what we would love to do. Since we already have the third season well underway, we thought the best way was to make some short segments that we can drop in between the longer ones. We're calling these extra segments internally variety nuggets. These nuggets would be very, very short, only 30 seconds to 1 minute. That's basically time for one quick setup and one gag. The nuggets would just be a quick laugh to surprise the audience, to keep them guessing what could come next. They would feature characters outside of our main cast. They don't need to be a recurring segment, but bonus if they do. We are also including a script for a very short segment, including Slappy Squirrel, parentheses, from the original show. She was a character that the fans have been asking for, and, well, we addressed the demands directly in that segment. Looking at all the episodes and structure of Season 3, we think that we can afford to squeeze in at least 4 of these segments, 6 at the most. We came up with a bunch of concepts, but these 7 are our favorites. We'd love you to make our dreams and the dreams of our audience come true by hopefully signing off on at least 4 of these. Thanks so much, Stephen, for helping us make Season 3 even better. Gabe. So there you go. So that was just kind of an interesting note, and I was thinking, when I read that, I was like, oh, that's nice to see some internal kind of things of, how they were trying to make the show as good as it could possibly be. And what I was mentioning on the Discord, however, was like, I don't know if he was necessarily, I wouldn't have gone the direction he went. I thought it was I wrote down that I thought it was a little bit misguided, because I thought the thing that people really wanted wasn't necessarily the variety with these short little segments, but they wanted longer segments of Slappy Squirrel and maybe the Good Feathers and maybe even Mindy and Buttons or some and Rita and Runt and all these other folks that they remember from the original show, not as little quick one gag things. Which those
maybe he was thinking more along the lines of Randy Beeman or Good Idea, Bad Idea.
Yeah, which were still good. I mean, I always loved Randy Beeman or Good Idea, Bad Idea stuff. But why not bring back Good Idea, Bad Idea?
Yeah, and right? I think the key to those was like keeping them really short, like when they had a couple really short ones. Yeah, but that's kind of like here's the joke and there's there.
Yeah,
it's fine. They did that a couple times in the new series, but I don't think they did it enough. Like
they were, even like
the bump in the dark was almost a little too long. Like it was like, oh yeah, we get the joke, and then like went on for the beats too long or something.
Right.
It's just like.
Anyway, I just thought that was kind of an interesting behind the scenes look at what the development of the Animaniacs reboot. Next episode, we're going to share some more thoughts about what people thought of the things they really liked about the reboot as we continue to kind of talk about Animaniacs as much as we can. Nathan, what are you licking out of a jar? This is distracting me. What is this?
It's some food.
for the listeners.
It was a smoothie. But the smoothie's all gone.
Nathan's just full on face in a jar as I'm talking about Animaniacs. He's just licking
I'll
it
turn
like
off my video.
He was licking. It's like I was watching Winnie the Pooh sticking his face in a honey jar.
It didn't get stuck. I didn't get stuck. And I didn't stick my hand in it.
Okay. Well, the other big news was I don't know if you two remember this, but remember the song "I'm Mad"? Remember this song? Yeah. Okay. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was originally released. I don't remember the exact year, but it was originally released as a short before the movie Thumbelina. And so if you went to the theaters to actually see it, you could see the Warners in I'm Mad. But unfortunately, over the years, it's kind of like it had this whole opening segment where it showed, the Warners and Dr. Scratch and Snuff in I'm Mad. And it kind of looked, I don't know, like a classic, cartoon from the 40s or something like that. Picture like in the Roger Rabbit cartoons where they show Roger Rabbit and Baby Herman at the beginning. Well, for years, that had been lost. Nobody really knew where that was posted, but where it went, I should say. But it has just been posted by FT Depot on YouTube, and it has the full intro, title cards, and outro cards, with I say new music, but new to us music from Richard Stone, I believe, which is so cool to hear. And it looks really cool. Like there's a lot of people online who are posting comparison shots of the DVD release versus the one that's been released now on YouTube. And the colors are a lot more vibrant and it really looks cool. And it really makes me hope that if people get excited about this kind of stuff and they start talking more about it, I'd really like to see the Warner Brothers invest money in, taking the film stock that they have of Animaniacs and, getting what am I trying to say?
Re-release or yeah.
Fixing it.
Fix it.
Refixing it. But putting it out on Blu-ray or, I thought with the writers, luckily the writer's strike has just ended. The actor's strike is continuing. Mm-hmm. Maybe it'll be over soon. Maybe it'll go on for a couple more months.
Maybe by the time this episode comes out, it might be,
Maybe.
I would imagine it's closer once because I don't think their demands are too far off from each other. Either.
Yeah, I agree. I think the writers were like, hey, let's get this done. And the actors say, yeah, we agree, basically. And also this. Don't clone us and pay us one time, basically, digitally. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I thought wouldn't it be such a great, invest? I think it would be a great investment of Warner Brothers money to go back to their Animaniacs cartoons and clean them up digitally. What is the word I'm looking for?
Remaster.
Thank you, Nathan. Digitally remaster the films or the episodes. And what if they release them like on a day by day basis, like on HBO or on Max? I don't know. That's what I would do if I were running the zoo. I would have them clean them up, and then as a way to get people excited about them, I would release every day a classic episode of Animaniacs, but remastered and looking beautiful on Max. And that way you get that kind of feeling that you did way back in the day where Monday through Friday you could watch Animaniacs. And then when it's all done, put them out on Blu-ray or 4K or whatever like that. I don't know. That's just me wishing. But if you're listening, David Zaslav, do that. All right? Okay, well, that's your Animaniacs news. Check out I'm Mad on YouTube, the theatrical cut. It's quite impressive. Hey, everybody, it's Joey. Just a quick update with that last conversation about I'm Mad. It is now, unfortunately, off of YouTube. However, you can find it on other, let's say, archival places. Haha. But again, it kind of goes to show you there is a demand for original series Animaniacs content in high definition. So hopefully that dream will come true one of these days. Okay, back to our previously recorded segment. All right, let's go ahead and get to our discussion of today's episode, Tiny Toons Looniversity. And it was released back on September 8th, 2023. But it aired, however, on Cartoon Network on September 9th, 2023. So Nathan, we got to get the Looney Facts for Tiny Toons Looniversity. So what's the theme song for the Looney Facts of Tiny Toons Looniversity?
Looney Facts for 17 September. Looney Facts for the 9th of September or the 8th or whatever day you want, because it's Looney Facts. Looney Facts for you.
Yeah, I didn't know which day we were going to pick, so I just kind of said, just generic.
Yeah,
so which day are we doing?
Well, I did both.
Wow. Okay, well, what's some facts?
Okay, hey, on September 8th of 2019, one of the largest pizza parties was held in Campanelle in Rome. It's 1,146 people dined on pizza together. So it was like a thing for September 8th.
Okay.
That, and it kind of did with the thing. And then Then let's go for some birthdays on September 9th. We've got Adam Sandler, 1966. Hugh Grant was 1960. We've got Colonel Sanders, 1890. That's pretty cool. Colonel Sanders. And then, Avril Lavigne also released an album on September 9th of 2002. And it's your favorite song, Skater Boy. SKHR.
Thank you. Let's make sure you pronounce it correctly with the correct spelling. God, that was 2002. That long ago, Skater Boy came out. Wow,
yep. Older than most of our listeners. I don't know.
I agree. No, I've seen the demographics on YouTube. This is a true statement.
All right, there you go. Skater Boy.
All right.
Oldie but a goodie.
Yes, indeed. Oh boy, it's kind of insane to think like back when we were kids, like in the 80s and 90s, and you thought, oh, oldies, that's back in the 50s and 60s, and now that's the equivalent of something back in the early 2000s or 90s. That's like oldie. Oh no. Oh boy. Okay, well, let's go ahead and get to our episode discussion of Give Pizza a Chance. And Give Pizza a Chance was written by Colleen Evanson. There were storyboards that were done by Gianna Ligamari and Valencia Spates. It was directed by Lauren Andrews. And the animation company on this one is Snipple. Kelly, why don't you tell us what happens here in the first act, which has been decided upon by Nathan. I don't want to hear anybody out there say, this isn't where the act was. No, Nathan is the judge on this. Okay?
I did my best guess.
He did his best guess of where the act could or should go in today's episode. Kelly, please tell us what happens here in the first act of this episode.
Okay. Buster is in his dorm room with Hampton, and he's showing them a trophy. It's for, like, being bug eyes or something like that. And Plucky starts kind of getting a little jealous, and he wants to show off his trophies. And so he has tons of them. They're all kind of like hidden in drawers and closets and stuff. And then Buster, he has a ton of trophies too. He doesn't just have the one. And so then they start competing to see who can hang up the most trophies. And they have these final medals that say like number 1. And Hampton helps them hang them up side by side. But then there's just so much stuff on the walls at this point. The walls start falling down and cans of snakes come popping out of the walls. And which would terrify me, and I'd flee and die all at the same time.
Just explode with practical joke snakes.
They basically get buried in this mountain of these snakes in a can. So then we see Bab's dorm room, and she's hanging out with Sweetie, and they're singing a song. They're getting along great. Everything's perfect. And when the song ends, there's this burst of confetti. It's all pretty and colorful. And Buster comes in to ask if they've had snakes in a can popping out of their walls. And he starts helping clean up the confetti, which is really nice of him. And Babs tells him that they haven't had any issues like that. But then he sees something under Sweetie's bed and starts pulling on it. And then her side of the room just becomes filled with junk. And it's all been hidden away under the bed and everything. And Babs is freaking out because we learn that she's a neat freak.
Well, I was so busy arranging my earbows by formal and informal that I didn't notice her side is an absolute mess!
Sis, I love you and I know you. You weren't happy when I would leave one sock on the floor back home.
Socks belong in a drawer, laundry basket, or being made into hand puppets. Anything else is an affront to the ancient law of socks.
You don't have the Hampton to settle things between you.
Hello?
I was just talking about you.
Oh, no.
It was good.
Oh, yay!
But then we find out that Hampton had come in to tell Buster that Dean Granny wants to see them about the snakes in the walls. And then Plucky and Buster and Hampton are in Dean Granny's office, and they're apologizing about the wall. And then Dean Granny explains that she's the one that put them in the wall, sort of as insulation, because way back in the war, they were using them as grenades. And then she became dean of the Looniversity, and she just took what they had left over and put it in the walls. And she gives them money to fix the walls, but she says that if she gives them the money and they sign the waivers, that they have to be completely responsible for handling the repairs.
All right. Yeah, it's hard to see hard to tell exactly which war that was. It was kind of like, okay, World War II? No, they're in trenches. World War I? Nah, that seems too early. It's just the Looney War. It was a tough time for Looney Tunes characters. But I'll tell you, Granny, she not only fought in it, but then she helped with the reconstruction afterwards as a Rosie the Riveter type character. Wow. So there's some other references in it. I mean, give pizza a chance is a reference to, give peace a chance, which among, I believe just a saying is a song by John Lennon. Of course, there's 2 episodes in a row of kind of cowboy good, bad, and the ugly shots of Buster and Plucky looking at each other. And let's see here. Babs and Sweetie were singing, and Nathan, you're saying this might be a reference to the 80s, maybe?
I could not figure out what song they were. I was
it kind of sounded familiar. Both songs they
familiar.
sing.
Yeah, and I was like, Google has a thing where it's like, oh, if you hum a tune,
right,
you can be like, oh, it might be this. So I did that for like 20 minutes. I just played the actual song for Google. At first I was like humming it, and it's like way off. And I was like, okay, well, here's the actual song. What does this sound like? And it's like, I don't know.
So if the audience knows, or
maybe if a listener knows,
maybe somebody working on the show is listening to this. They can tell us.
Yeah.
Maybe Colleen Evanson's out there. She's listening.
They did well enough not to get sued for sure.
Totally.
I want to know what it is.
What's your
inspiration? I'm pretty sure it's a reference to some song, but I can't.
Yeah. And then like the song they sing in kind of the coffee shop atmosphere almost sounds kind of like a 90s-ish kind of song.
I put like Jewel or something.
Yeah,
kind of sounds like Jewel, but like she doesn't really do a lot of duets. I didn't see it.
Right.
I was like,
I thought they were going to start singing Smelly Cat at the end, but that would be no, but they didn't. They could have been singing about Furball, but they didn't. Okay, well, whatever. Hey, everybody, it's Joey again. I was under the assumption that there were 2 different songs, but actually it's the same song, just sung differently. So Babs and Sweetie sing a song 2 times, just they sing it in 2 styles. So there you go. Same song, different style. All right, back again to our previous conversation. Sweetie, there's a bunch of little plot things that are dropped into this first section as well. Like Sweetie saying she's colorblind is mentioned very quickly when she's looking at the closet. She organizes everything by scent and touch, I believe is what she says. But let's see. And it says Bugs is dressed as a woman on a horse. Oh, it seems the best costume.
From I guess that's a reference. But it's also in the opening credits, too. So it's like,
that's true. But that's in, Elmer
Fudd.
It's Opera Doc. Mm-hmm. That's the...
I do wonder if Elmer Fudd is dead or...
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of Elmer Fudd, still not shown alive. Missing in act. I know you people out there. Yeah, we're watching this slowly, so I know you folks out there listening to us are like, he's alive or he's dead. Don't tell us. As far as we know, he's dead. So we think he's dead. we're pretty sure Elmer Fudd died in a horrible hunting accident.
Some sort of, yeah. They dedicated a hall to him. So.
Oh, that's nice. Well, let's go ahead and talk about anything in this first segment that you thought was funny. Nathan, let's start with you.
I like that Plucky, for some reason, had trophies that looked like Buster Bunny that popped out of his
I didn't see.
case.
I didn't pause it long enough to look and see what the trophies
and I was
like.
I'm gonna look at all these trophies, and then like at the very beginning, he popped like half of his trophies are of Buster Bunny. Like what?
Not even like Bugs Bunny, but definitely Buster Bunny.
It looks like Buster Bunny more than Bugs.
Interesting.
So I'm just like, because they're either like Plucky's face is like on half of them, and then the other half have like Buster's face on them, and I'm like, why? So he's a better Buster than Buster is.
Wow, that is a quite an reward to get.
And then when Hampton walks in the room, and they're like, oh, we were talking about you. He's like, oh no, it's like, oh, it's good things, and then he's happy, and then he's like, Dean wants to see us. Oh, it's like, oh, why are you all happy? You should be coming in the room like worried. You're just like, hey guys, how you doing? Dean wants to see us. And I'm just like, that's weird animation.
There's definitely some weirder shots in this episode of what
Yeah,
I think some people
like
were
what?
saying online as like meme faces. And they really, I don't know how much they do in this series of that, which according to some of the comments on our YouTube channel, so it turned some people off. They're like, there's too many meme faces, which...
Yeah, there was a lot. Plucky did a lot in this one, especially.
Yeah, so that you know, hey, if I do a few of those per episode, I guess, but it seemed like they were overdoing it a bit too much in this one.
My favorite line was maybe in this part was the, it's not a competition. When Plucky says that it's faster than Buster does.
Yeah, it is kind of funny watching them trying to be friends, and Hampton being the mediator, I suppose. Kelly, any other things in this first segment that you brought that you thought were neat?
No, nothing else comes to mind.
All righty. Well, let's go ahead and move on to Act 2 then. Nathan, what happens here in Act 2 of this sitcom?
And so many things. So we open up with that, and we're like in a surgery room. I don't know what's going on. Operating room. Buster and Plucky are trying to fix the wall. That's what it is. They need to do all the things, get the duct tape, and it doesn't look very good. It looks not very good. It looks like it's gonna fall apart. But they were given $100, and they still have $50 left over. And they have to figure out what to do. And of course, Plucky wants to do whatever Buster doesn't want to do. He wants to do the complete opposite of that. But instead, Hampton's like, just both say what you want to do at the same time. And they both say, like, pizza party. And it turns out that they like each other. It's like that scene in Step Brothers where they just became best friends.
Whoa, Plucky! We've been so focused on beating each other that we haven't stopped to think that we might actually have things in common.
2 seconds ago, I thought your breath smelled like butt, but now it smells like friendship.
So yeah, they're now friends, and they're gonna have a pizza party. And also things are probably great in Babs's place too, because look, the place is all clean. Sweetie comes in, but she's a little upset because Babs moved all her things. She reorganized all her shirts and things, and they argue because her nest was destroyed by Babs, and yeah, so I don't know. They don't know if maybe Babs is too clean or maybe Sweetie's too messy. I don't know. It's a whole thing.
This isn't cool. Sorry, but what wasn't cool was how messy your side was. Sorry, but messy? I was the cleanest bird on my block. Have you ever met a pigeon? They make cockroaches look like the queens of England. Maybe the issue is you're too organized.
But we go to the pizza party, and Plucky and Buster are best friends now. They even have the name Buster as a best friend name. And Hampton has nothing to do now. He doesn't know who he is if he's not helping Buster and Plucky. So he has self-realizations. I don't know. But Plucky and Buster decide to do a pizza eating contest where Buster ends up winning that. So Sweetie and Babs are also at the party, but they're not really talking to each other. So Babs is pretending to be friends with Shirley the Loon, which upsets Sweetie. Hampton notices that Sweetie's upset, so he starts counseling her. And after he counsels her, he counsels Babs. But Buster and Lucky are still fighting, kind of friends fighting. I don't know. They're going to have a rematch on a marinara slide, which they slide across the whole room. While that's going on, Hampton finishes the session with Babs. Babs realizes that she should be friends with Sweetie because, whatever, people have different standards for messes, and that's fine. But as she gets this epiphany, Lucky and Buster crash into them and then into the wall, and the wall breaks, and there's snakes everywhere. There's pizza everywhere.
Everyone, me!
Oh no. Yeah, speaking of these snakes, I remember I was going to say in the first episode. Do you, and Kelly? I know Nathan would remember this because he's too young.
Snakes on a plane? Yeah, I remember.
Yeah,
that.
Okay. That was going to say. No, I'm kidding. Oscar the Grouch. I don't know if Kelly, if you remember this.
Slimy.
Yes, but do you remember he used to do I think it was Oscar the Grouch used to give people peanut brittle. Like he would give Gordon like some peanut brittle and say, "Oh yeah, it's just a can of peanut brittle," and he go, "Oh Oscar, are you? There's cans of snakes in here." He goes, "No, I promise, there's no cans of snake." And then of course they would open it, and then there would be spring snakes in that. I think that's Sesame Street, but then again, it could have been Today's Special, or
I love Today's Special so much.
It could have been Pinwheel or something.
I love Pinwheel.
Yeah, exactly. These are all old, those are all clone shows.
My first Cabbage Patch doll, I named Jeff after Jeff the mannequin in Today's Special.
Oh gosh, Today's Special was a good Canadian show right there on Nickelodeon. So but I think it was Oscar the Grouch. In fact, if I can find the audio of whatever the heck I'm talking about, I'm going to put it in.
Yeah, that specific, I can't really picture it. It could be or could not be. I don't know.
Yeah, I just remember spring snakes as a kid being like, that's comedy. Little kid opening cans of peanut brittle.
Ernie doing it to Bert more likely than Oscar though, because when I'm thinking about it, I can hear Ernie's laugh going. How he used to laugh.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Okay. Well,
could be way off base, but I feel like that would be more of an Ernie thing. But anyway.
All right. Well, I'm just typing in Oscar Snakes Peanut Brittle. And yep, snake in a can, Muppet Wiki. Oscar once again has the upper hand, and a cluster of snakes fly out his own can and hits there. Yep. So it was Oscar the Grouch.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, there's the thing with Susan. If you go to the Muppet Wiki and say snake in a can, you can see a great animated GIF of. Oh, I guess then they might still
I don't ever put the word snake in a search engine.
There's a whole section on here on the Muppet Wiki that is really great, showing all the different snakes in a can that they've had over the years, including Muppets 3D when Fozzie opens a can full of snakes right to the audience. So there you are. All right. Well, let's go ahead and talk enough about snakes in a can talk. Let's go and talk about the second segment here of I think I'll pull up the notes once again. Okay, second segment. Trivia. Okay. There's I don't know, some maybe Animal House. They did feel kind of like an Animal House kind of thing going on.
I think the lampshade on the head, I think it's from Animal House. I know that's like a common party trope thing.
I will say the Dean looking at them kind of like whenever I see the Granny Dean, I do get vibes of Animal House with the Dean making sure that the dorm is acting, or the frat house is acting, acting correctly. My vocabulary is totally gone today. The Leaning Tower of Pizza sauce is a reference to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. This is true. This is very true.
I've been there.
They don't have these trivia things on the wiki.
That's true. So it's got to start somewhere.
It's if you want it, you gotta make it up.
Yep. Yeah, then there was a lot of video game stuff going on with the pizza competition. It looked like a fighting competition,
Tiny Toons has video games.
That's true. We got to play some of those. I remember playing the animation one as a kid and liking it a lot. Anyway, Dizzy Devil is like a shark, a pizza shark at one point, kind of like Jaws. Oh,
Absolutely, definitely.
well, and the pizza. Nathan says the pizza sauce race should have been more like Revenge of the Sith.
Exactly.
I think. Okay, I was going to talk about this a little later, but I think there was a total. I'm really missing more references in this series because I agree that would have been great, but also like they had snakes. They had a great opportunity.
Yeah, why did it have to be snakes?
Why did it have to be snakes? Yeah,
boom,
like, easy. Pop that in, make
And
me
then
laugh.
that would have been an extra water tower just for me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they have the or just Jaws, like just showing
Make the Jaws. Give a little theme song of Jaws.
Yeah,
Boom.
similar thing to Jaws, but they didn't do that either. So it seems like they just
missed
need,
opportunities,
right? That are there, and they're just so close to getting them. In the next one, they do. I'll just say it now, like a Patton reference with Babs, talking about cleaning up the place, but she doesn't say any. Like I think in Patton. He says something about like when you put your hand down in a pile of goo, that was your friend's face or something like that. Hey, it's all gooey. Like they had a gooey pizza everywhere. Like change that line to work with the visual that you have.
Marinara sauce, yeah,
right. It just anyway. A little frustrating right there with almost the lack of quick references they could have put in, but they didn't. But let's talk about anything that you saw in here that you thought was cool. Kelly, what did you see in the second part right here that you liked?
I thought the pillows that Babs put on Tweety's bed were cute. The live, laugh, and eat worms, like the live, laugh, and love signs that people put in their houses. Not me. That's not my aesthetic, but they're popular. Or
Bless
they were
This
at one
Nest,
point.
I believe, was another one, which was kind of a cool instead of
and
nest,
I like the duct tape.
Oh yes, Plucky's Duct Tape, which was like his unplugged album that he's been working on. All right, yes, very cool. Nathan, what about you?
I like that Babs had organized labels. She labels her boxes of labels and
She's so organized.
I like when they're like, oh, we're gonna have a pizza eating contest to see who can eat the most pizza in 5 minutes, and then Plucky's like, oh, I can do that in 5 minutes, and then Bus is like, I can do it in 4, and I'm like, that's not really how pizza eating contest works. It's not eat as much as you can in 4 minutes, and then you're just stop eating food for the last minute, and you're like, I did it. You're like, that means you lost because you're not eating your food anymore. I could do it in 4. I don't know.
I can get full in 4 minutes instead of 5.
Yeah, I can get 4. Like what? I like when Calamity and Dizzy were playing pin the thing on the wall, and then they put it on Beeper's nose or whatever, and then they do this weird like hop jump thing. They're just standing and like kind of bouncing in place. It's a weird scene.
Yeah.
And Babs is like not impressed by it. She's giving like stink eyes, and then she looks behind her, and they're behind her. They're behind her now.
What?
So how are they in front of her? She's looking at them, and then she turns around to see Sweetie laughing, and they're next to Sweetie. So what's happening there? Some weird visual.
They're all over the place. It is
They're
weird.
just jumping around. They do
Yeah.
these little bounce thing, and then they teleport, I think is what happens.
Yeah. Is this also the first time where we see like Furball and stuff and
And we hear Furball talking.
talk for the first time? Who did Furball's
Yeah, I think he talked in the first. He talked in the original series, I think, when Rob Paulson voiced him, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part,
Frank Welker, I think also.
Frank Welker did the voice primarily, but I
Yeah.
think Rob Paulson did some when he actually spoke.
Yes, I think they kind of they might have taken turns. Furball's voice was never set in stone, and a lot of times Furball would not talk at all. It was actually weird to me when Furball would talk.
I was so weird. Yeah, I was just saying in this episode, I was like, "What? Why is Furball talking?" Natalie Palamides did Furball.
Okay,
I think she gets credited later in other episodes, but yeah, she wasn't credited in this one. So
cool.
Maybe she didn't do it in this episode.
Well, there we are. All right.
Be weird.
Well, let's see. Any other little things in here, Nathan, that you saw that were of note? I think most of the things.
It's everything I got.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I'm very impressed with how much pizza these guys got for $50.
I know. I was
For
like,
real.
why did it cost that much to fix the wall with like a little bit of duct tape and scout? Like you've spent $50 on that, and then
on duct tape. Well, they got to get they got to get the surgical masks and the gloves too.
I guess that's probably it. And yeah,
but they also bought pizza hats to give to everybody. Like $50 for all that pizza and pizza hats. Like it almost made me wonder, like why did they have Granny just give them $100? Like why not give them $500 and just say we spent $50 to fix the wall, and
or they still have $100 left and they spent no money, or
right?
You know,
yeah, which is
25 cents.
Exactly. Yeah, even 100, I'd be like, okay, I get it. $100 on pizza, that could buy a room full of pizza in Looniversity world. Sure, why not? Well, whatever. That was a little scratch my head moment. But let's go and move on to the last part here, Act 3. Okay, so there's pizza everywhere. Carnage of the pizza party has occurred. And Babs and Sweetie, of course, they find each other. It's like almost like a scene into like a bombing of a building. But they find each other and they agree to become resties again, or boomies, or whatever, because they realize that, hey, you can't expect someone to, act the way that you want them to all the time. And, you were a twin and the other person was, you might have thought they were messy, but in fact, hey, compared to like Sweetie had a great line about pigeons being like cockroaches, like could have been worse. But Yosemite Sam sees this stuff going on over across in Fudd Hall. So the Dean and Yosemite Sam go there to investigate. But when they open up the door, well, they see nothing, because Babs gathers everybody together and they clean up all the place. And they basically shove just everything under the carpet and into the walls and under the, into the lampshades, into the ceilings. And when Granny opens up, she's like, they see them singing at a coffee shop setting.
You like pepperoni pie, not I. So take a slice if you please. I've got a pizza that you really should try. Lots of basil and cheese.
Nothing's going on. In my day, this room would have been filled with an out-of-control pizza party. Squares. And
little does she know, as soon as she closes the door, just everything explodes. And pizza and snakes just go everywhere. And we are told Plucky and Buster will need to pay to fix the walls and fix the wall properly, but they are no longer friends for the time being. Plucky, by the way, Buster tricks Plucky into fixing the wall by just
really
saying,
well.
because and Plucky, after saying he does no manual labor to Babs, does a very good job fixing the wall finally. So there we are. And then they do a almost like a That's All Folks with a Warner Brothers pizza logo, and Granny plays guitar, electric guitar at the end. And I'm trying to find out, like, what college movie is this referencing? I don't know, but it was very 80s college looking moment. So, Nathan, you were saying that Plucky's album kind of looks like a reference to something, maybe an Alan Sherman reference to one of his albums. I can't figure either. He's wearing those big glasses and...
Yeah, I was like, Alan Sherman wears glasses.
Sure did.
He was live at the Sands, and that's kind of like a Boulder. I was like, I don't know what they're going for.
Yeah,
I don't know.
live at the Boulder. All the references they should, like, all we're asking to do is put some Jaws and Indiana Jones references in.
Yeah, don't put these obscure things.
Really
no
obscure ones.
Like,
come on. Oh, well. They did have a quote in here that made my wife watch this episode with me, and she laughed when Plucky said, "Everyone, me," and he said, "Duck." So that was cute. But what are some things that you liked in this last part as we wrapped everything up? Nathan, what did you see? Anything in here that you liked?
I was confused at how Hampton saw the dean coming. Just kind of a weird. Like, I guess he's seeing it through the window, or does he have like precog powers or something where he just like senses the dean's coming? Like, so, yeah, like no one else can see the dean coming, but he knows
He
like
can
the dean's.
sense it.
Yeah, he must sense it, I guess.
By the way, I did like how Hampton, we could tell he does have his own bed. He doesn't have a bunk bed, but he does have a third bed in the room. So,
but if he sits on it, he has enough weight that he can push down a bunch of pizza box. So he's heavier than he seems. I think.
He's like a big old bowling ball. A lot of mass to Hampton. Okay.
I liked when, I think it was Plucky was pouring things down the toilet and then he flushed it. And I was thinking, needs to go down the hole or something. Could have said something like that.
Could have said it. Oh, jeez. Look,
these are just
quick
observations. Just like, hey,
look. Okay, look. Season 2 has not yet premiered. Look, we're begging you. Look, Tiny Toons Looniversity. Let us take a look at the scripts, okay?
Give us a little pass. We'll
do a quick pass. We'll help you throw in some Tiny Toons references and Spielberg references.
Quick audio cues. Yeah, audio cues is all you need.
You keep everything you want. We'll just put in a couple references that we know will make everybody happy, mostly us. And then make it. Okay, good. Glad we had that talk. Okay. Yeah, perfect opportunity for that gone. Oh well. Kelly, anything in this third part that you thought was cool?
I thought it was funny when Tweety takes away Shirley's dancing, the car dealership inflatable thing that she'd been dancing with.
I remember seeing that thing, and I don't remember exactly what happened with it, but yes.
Shirley was very obsessed with it in the second act, and then in the third act, it had to go away. But she was like, "Oh, you've got the moves."
It was cute.
The inflatable,
That's
I forget
right.
what those things are called.
Those wacky things.
Wacky inflatable, remember that Family Guy
segment.
Thing.
From the first few seasons where it was good.
I think it was like the first movie when it came out. I think that was the funniest part of that movie.
Was there a Family Guy movie?
There was.
Oh my gosh, I can't remember any of Family Guy.
I think that was from the movie. I thought, right?
There was a Family Guy movie. I don't remember this at all. I believe you. I mean, it sounds right, especially when they were kind of trying to get things off the floor again after being canceled a few times.
Yeah, the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing.
Yeah, that does sound. I remember the segment, but I guess it wasn't. It was a Family Guy movie.
In my memory, it was from a Family Guy movie. And I remember watching that and be like, well, that part of the movie was funny.
It was definitely memorable. I don't remember anything else from that one, but wacky arms. Okay. Well, there's some good stuff in here, and I think, but let's go ahead and just get right to our water tower rating. What do you guys think out of 5 water towers? How many would you give this episode of Tiny Toons Looniversity? Let's see. Nathan, what do you think?
Okay, well, comparing it to last week's, I thought this one was a little worse. So I gave it 3. But it's still, fine. I don't know. I didn't, hate any part of it. So 3 water towers.
All right. Kelly, what about you?
I concur with Nathan. I didn't like this episode as much as the first one, so I'll also give it 3.
All right. I was going to give it a 2.5, but in the sake of triple agreement, I'm going to give it a 3 as well. So 2 episodes
weeks in a row.
Yes. 3 out of 3. 3 for 3. 3 water towers for 3 people. Anyway. We'll see if next time will be 3 for 3 with everything, but we'll see.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it was just kind of some missed opportunities for some jokes, and it's a weird thing. I was just thinking they showed Sneezer, for example, and it's like, Sneezer's really cute, and whoever's doing Sneezer's voice, is that listed on our little thing here?
No. He was also not credited.
Oh, and Fifi talks. Fifi has this funny talk about a croissant and a beret put together. And what that is. That was a good line. But anyway, but like I look at Sneezer and I'm like, okay, so here's Sneezer in diapers. When you look at Tiny Toon Adventures, it makes perfect sense for Sneezer to be there. Like if you say Buster and Babs are like in middle school or maybe high school even. Okay, well, Sneezer, he's a baby. It's like, I get it. He's in diapers. But now here's a mouse in diapers in college. Like Sneezer's either like Grogu and he's very, he develops very slowly, or he's like Doogie Howser and he's very advanced. Doogie Mouser. I don't know. It was just kind of confusing. It's just it's a weird thing because the problem that I'm having with the show right now, I know we're only 2 episodes in, is I'm going, okay, this show is for a younger audience than what I am. But I wish it was throwing out a few more references a little bit over the heads of the kids so that I can get a little bit more enjoyment out of it, because that's what the original show did too.
I feel like there are these references, because like the songs where we're like, we don't know what that's a reference to,
right?
And that album, like I don't know what that's it's like weird.
It's like inside jokes instead of cultural references in a way.
Yeah,
it feels like that. Like I'm missing something instead of, oh, that's something, and now I'm gonna follow that breadcrumb trail to the reference of what they're talking about. So it's not quite hitting, and it just seems like they're not, again, like we said earlier, missed opportunities for those things to be there. So
but like it just puts me in mind of Hearts of Twilight. Because when I saw that episode, I had no idea what it was parodying.
Oh yeah, I didn't know until about 10 years ago.
So I mean, most of that episode went over my head. And because even the snail slithering across the railroad tracks, I mean, that was even a reference, but I didn't get any of that, but it was funny in and of itself. I mean, that was one of my favorite episodes before I ever even got the references. So if it stands on its own as being funny enough, you don't need to understand the references, I would argue, but it just adds another layer of enjoyment. Exactly.
And I feel like I'm missing some of that layering of stuff. And it's story wise, like everything's like nothing's offensive in this cartoon that I could think, I don't get grossed out even when they are a little bit gross from time to time. It's like nothing's that like, oh God, don't do that. Don't rip off your, like in the reboot of Animaniacs when Wacko's tail gets ripped off and it's very kind of gross Ren and Stimpy-ish kind of stuff going on. I'm not seeing any of that stuff in Looniversity, which is nice, but I just wish it was, it was just getting a little bit sillier from time to time. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. But let's go ahead and get to some contact information in case people want to talk to us more about this kind of stuff. Kelly, where can people reach out to you online?
I am on X, Yoda Princess, YODAPRNCSS. I do have some accounts like in other social media platforms, but as of this moment, I'm not checking them or remembering where I have these other accounts. So.
I feel your pain on that one. I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't post on that thing yet. Nathan, what about you?
I'm checking them all right now, and I'm on X. I'm checking it, and no one said anything to me. What the heck? Django FT. That's me.
I'm gonna put my foot down. I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter until they rip it from my cold dead hands. We're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and other and Threads. Some people are really liking the Threads deal, so that's something that's a good backup right there. And if Threads could just work a little bit better, I would love it. I really miss the hashtag and searching. So, okay, Zuckerberg, I know you're a listener. Work on the functionality of that. I appreciate it. Okay. Other than that, you can subscribe to us on all your favorite podcast players and listen to all our episodes. And, of course, we're a proud member of RetroZap.com's podcast network. And check out RetroZap.com today for amazing articles and podcasts every single day. Well, that'll do it for us. So, for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey. I'm saying good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
What is this, Boomy?
A bestie and a roomie.
Oh, like a croissant. A beret and a croissant.
Uh-huh. But why would you combine those two?
To make a buttery, crumbly hat, of course.